when the boss talks gossip.
Okay, so let's dive into this. Ryan Reynolds, always quick with a joke. He dropped this line recently at Conleone. He was there for Stagwell Sport Beach, promoting Wrexham AFC.
Right, his soccer team.
Yeah, and he's just handing someone a water bottle, seems totally normal, and says, "I'm not throwing this. I've been around lawyers. You can walk up here and grab it."
Mm-hmm. Just like that.
Just like that. Now, normally, you probably just laugh it off, right? Typical Reynolds quip.
Sure.
But here's where it gets, really interesting. This wasn't just random. It feels like a very, very deliberate nod to this whole legal storm involving his wife, Blake Lively.
Exactly. It's fascinating, isn't it, how one little comment in public can be, a calculated signal. It hints at all these layers underneath. And that's what we want to do in this deep dive. Sort of peel back those layers, trace it all back from where this dispute started, connect the dots right up to that water bottle comment. Because it's way more complex than, just another celebrity headline. We want you to get the full picture.
Right. So let's pull back that curtain. Where did this all actually begin?
It really kicked off back in December 2024.
Okay.
That's when Blake Lively first came forward and accused Justin Baldoni, her former co-star, of sexual harassment on set.
Which are, incredibly serious allegations.
Absolutely. And Baldoni immediately denied them. Flat out.
But it didn't stop with just a denial, did it? It seemed to escalate really quickly.
It did. That denial was just the start. Baldoni and his studio, Wayfarer, they didn't just deny, they hit back hard. They filed a pretty substantial countersuit against Blake Lively, against her publicist, Leslie Sloan, and even against Ryan Reynolds himself for defamation.
Wow. Defamation against all three.
Mm-hmm. It shows a really aggressive legal strategy, doesn't it? They're basically saying her claims wrecked their reputation. It's not just defending. It's a full-on counterattack trying to, flip the script.
That is a staggering escalation. Accusation, then bam, multiple defamation suits, even hitting her husband. And Baldoni kept going after that, didn't he? What came next?
You got it. He absolutely did not stop there. He took it even further. A massive lawsuit, we're talking $250 million against the New York Times.
Against the Times? Why?
Well, the Times had published this big expose right around New Year's Eve detailing Lively's allegations against him. So this lawsuit claims that reporting was defamatory and caused huge financial damage.
$250 million against the New York Times. That's a bold move.
It signals incredibly high stakes. You're challenging the accuracy of a major news investigation. It really raises the question of, how common is that kind of strategy?
Okay, so we've got the initial claim, the defamation countersuits, the massive NYT lawsuit. Where are we now? What's the absolute latest development in all this?
So earlier this month, June, we saw a pretty major development, kind of swung the pendulum. A judge actually dismissed Baldoni's defamation case.
Dismissed it against Lively, Sloan, and Reynolds.
Correct. Dismissed, which is obviously a huge blow for Baldoni's side. It suggests the court felt there wasn't enough legal basis for defamation. Maybe it was opinion or protected speech or just not enough evidence of malice.
That sounds like a really significant victory for Lively and her team then.
At this stage, yes. A major win.
But hang on, even with that dismissal, I remember hearing something about private texts, something involving Taylor Swift. What's the story there?
Yes. That's still sort of bubbling under the surface. It's fascinating, really. Despite the main defamation case being dismissed, this detail emerged. Blake Lively's private texts with Taylor Swift are now accessible to Baldoni's legal team.
Accessible how? I thought they dropped the subpoena against Swift.
They did withdraw the direct subpoena to Swift, that's true. But it seems they found another way to get those messages, likely through the discovery process involving Lively. And these are the texts where Lively apparently called Swift my dragon. Baldoni's team argues that was meant to intimidate him.
My dragon. Wow.
Yeah. So even though the defamation suit is gone, those very private messages could still potentially be relevant in, say, other related legal matters.
Okay, so let's bring this back. What does all this mean for you listening and for these stars? It really puts Ryan Reynolds' comment, that whole "I've been around lawyers" thing, into sharp focus, doesn't it?
Absolutely.
It sounds less like a joke and more like someone who's genuinely been around lawyers a lot lately. It highlights the immense pressure, the constant legal microscope they're under. A casual remark suddenly carries all this weight, this history of a legal fight. It's like a subtle signal to anyone who knows the backstory.
It really is. And it makes you think, doesn't it? In this day and age, when private texts, things you say to a friend, can end up as legal evidence, what does this whole complicated mess tell us about those lines, the ones between your public image, your private life, your actual private conversations? They seem blurrier than ever. And it really underscores the power, sometimes the explosive power, of just a few carefully chosen words, especially when you live your life in the spotlight. Makes you wonder how much is ever truly private anymore.
AIAI, when the boss talks gossip.